Welcome everyone. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to join us for tonight's webinar. My name is Claire Sarnowski and I'm the chair of the District Project Committee. We are thrilled to introduce our new district project and share with you our hopes and goals for this initiative. I'm continuously inspired by the key clubbers in our district and their dedication to making positive changes in the world around them. I sincerely hope that you take this opportunity to engage with the Help End Hunger initiative and leave a lasting impact on the lives of those affected by hunger. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them in the chat as there will be a Q&A session at the end where we will address them. Without further ado, I'd like to pass it off to Jessica, who will be introducing our webinar speakers.
Starting off our committee, we have Claire Skanowski, who is our district project chair, who you just heard just moments ago. Now we have Alice Lee, who is our district governor and executive liaison. Moving on to our committee members, we have me, Jessica Dow, Renee Sun, and Karunika Tanabe. Next, we have Karithika Stursh, Un Sim, and Rachel Ball. Since you now know the members of the District Project Committee, we want to know more about you. Write in the chat your name and the location you're joining us from this evening. I see we have some people from Portland, Oregon, Hillsborough, Canada as well, Washington, and from Seattle. All great places to be. We're so excited for you all to be here with us today. And with that, we'll be talking more about why this project was chosen. Here's our District Governor, Alice Lee.
Hello, everyone. I'm so glad that you were able to make it here tonight. My name is Alice Lee, and I'm serving as your governor this year. Every year, the governor is given the honor of selecting one high-impact project for the district to take on as the district project. This year, I'm pleased to announce that Help End Hunger will be the district project for the 2021 to 2022 service year. Help End Hunger is more than just a project. It's a movement. Created with the intent of providing local relief to communities disproportionately affected by COVID-19, this year's district project looks specifically to target hunger and food insecurity throughout the Pacific Northwest. The project will provide unique and meaningful opportunities to get involved through service. But you might be wondering, why hunger? Feeding America predicts more than 13 million children will experience food insecurity in the United States in 2021. Nutrition is the primary factor in fostering healthy growth and development, and long-term food insecurity and hunger is responsible for stealing 1/6 of the population's futures every year. Furthermore, food insecurity has only worsened during the pandemic, with the Black, Indigenous, and other people of color, BIPOC communities being disproportionately affected. When caring is our way of life and children and their futures are our focus, ending hunger becomes an objective that is abundantly obvious. A project that provides relief, aid, and a step towards guaranteeing another's future is a project that we must pursue. Instead of partnering with a single organization, Help End Hunger actively encourages key clubbers throughout our district to get involved with their local food banks and hunger relief organizations to forward our goal. Key clubbers all throughout the district, regardless of geographic location, are connected through a network of food banks and resource distribution sites to contribute to this project. With service being the primary component to the project, Help End Hunger provides equity to financially underprivileged individuals and communities by giving everyone a chance to contribute without the necessity of fundraising. The versatility of the project increases our impact and ability to serve. So roll up your sleeves and get ready to help hold hands to help end hunger, whether it be a food drive, partnering with the local food bank, or joining together at events such as Key Club Days. We'll find a way to rise, shine, and serve. I'm so excited for all the work we'll accomplish together. Before I pass it off to the rest of the District Project Committee, I'm proud to announce that registration for Key Club Days has opened today. Woo! Key Club Days is another opportunity for you to learn about the District Project and how to get involved through a series of workshops, panels, and our keynote speaker. If you're interested in this fun and educational opportunity full of meaningful service in Key Club spirit, go check it out later after this webinar on the PNW Key Club website at pnwkeyclub.org. I'll now let the committee members explain how you can get more involved this year.
Thank you, Alice. Now that you understand why this initiative was selected, we will discuss the causes of hunger and how it affects people. The most common cause of hunger is poverty. A majority of food insecure individuals simply can't afford to purchase food for themselves and their families. Some families living in poverty may be able to sell goods or work small jobs to supplement their income. This often creates a short-term solution to a long-term cycle of hunger and poverty. These cycles are often passed down from generation to generation and continue. Unemployment and low wages are also factors that cause hunger. Typically, those living on low wages can purchase a limited amount of meals, especially those lacking in nutrition. A lack of government assistance for these people can worsen their food insecurity. Some families make too much money to meet the income threshold and receive assistance, but don't make enough money to purchase this nutritious food. Also, climate factors such as seasonal changes, food and livestock availability, and weather impact growing seasons in rural area, which drastically reduces crops. This has a dramatic effect on those relying on these crops for food. Natural disasters can have an extreme economic impacts on communities and wipe out complete food systems. As we've seen in the Pacific Northwest this year, through fires, severe droughts, and ice storms, these all have impacted and disrupted growing seasons and even displaced families. Lastly, systemic inequities relating to gender, ethnicity, and race make it difficult for some people to access resources such as food banks. This is especially true for groups disproportionately affected by hunger. Although these are just a few of the many causes of hunger in the United States, the list goes on when we look at hunger on a global scale. Hunger comes with life-changing impacts, ranging from medical issues to difficult lifestyle decisions. Those experiencing hunger are at an increased risk of developing obesity, high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, and suffering strokes. For children, a lack of nutrition during infancy and early childhood can result in premature birth, anemia, asthma, hyperactivity, brittle bones, reduced muscle mass, and sometimes even death. Many of these health issues are irreversible and can stay with a person for the rest of their life. Hunger also forces people to make compromises and trade-offs. Feeding America reported that a study found 69% of people living with food insecurity had to choose between food and utilities, 67% had to choose between food and transportation, 66% had to choose between food and medical care, 57% had to choose between food and housing, and 31% had to choose between food and education. These percentages and statistics are shocking.
Since we have heard how hunger can affect people, we are now going to go over some statistics regarding hunger and food insecurity as a whole and in our communities. Marginalized communities are impacted by hunger and food insecurity the most. Statistics show that BIPOC communities are disproportionately affected by hunger and food insecurity, and they rely more on food banks and resource distribution sites. For those of you that aren't familiar with the term, BIPOC refers to Black, Indigenous, and other people of color, and the term aims to emphasize the historic oppression of these groups. It's reported that 15.8% of Latino, 19.3% of Black, and 23.5% of Native American individuals live in food insecure households. Some of the most impacted demographics beside BIPOC communities include seniors over the age of 65, single parent households, especially single mothers, children, and farmers. Currently, 1 in 4 Oregonians are considered food insecure. This number has worsened since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, when this statistic was only 1 in 10 Oregonians. It's now more important than ever for us to make sure we are doing our part in helping out our communities, especially as COVID transmission rates start to decline. If we look at Washington statistics, 1 in 8 Washingtonians rely on the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, also known as SNAP, to afford their meals. Half of the people enrolled in this program happen to be kids. In Canada, the statistics aren't much better. Since March 2020, over 50% of food banks in Vancouver, British Columbia have reported a significant increase in demand. This shows that more people are needing assistance from non-governmental resources. Hunger isn't just a United States or Canada problem, it's a world crisis. Action Against Hunger states that 690 million people worldwide still go to bed hungry each night. Without action and intervention, this number will only grow. Although statistics are important to help us see how prevalent hunger is, we must remember that behind these numbers and percentages are real people. We will be watching this short video about Lamont, a man from Layton, Utah. So here is his touching story, which is brought to you by Feeding America.
A little girl handed me her report card, and she told me my grades are now better because I get breakfast every morning from the food pantry. And it broke my heart. No kid should have to worry about what they're going to eat before they go to school. My mom had to work 2 and 3 part-time jobs just to make ends meet. And once I started having a family, I didn't want to live that way. I used to work for a cable company. I was out in the city doing a job, and I took a piece of coax through my eye. I lost a significant amount of eyesight, and I was left unemployed. Things took a turn for the worse for us. You have to decide whether you buy groceries or you put money on the light bill. Do you power your house? Do you heat your house? Or do you put food in your kid's stomach? Some days, me and my wife went without eating just to make sure the kids had enough. One thing you want to never do is be able to not provide for your family. And my wife was just insistent on, yes, you have provided for us for years, but we need help right now. So I used to receive assistance here at the food pantry, and I am now actually a director here. The best thing that happened for me was getting hurt on my job and getting me back to the things that I love to do, and that's helping families. Seeing that light come back on once a family has been broken down, it is an amazing feeling, and there's no paycheck that can compensate for that. Families do fall on hard times. We all could be one paycheck away from being in their situation as well.
Wow, that was such an inspiring video and affirms the importance of the work we have to do. Here are the ways PNW will be involved in the fight against hunger. We ask that key clubbers get involved in this initiative through a variety of ways, including service, fundraising, and education. We're encouraging key clubbers to be intentional when planning their service projects. Unlike our past project, the Thirst Project, we aren't partnering with just one specific organization. Some organizations to consider are Feeding America, Food Lifeline, Northwest Harvest, and Food Banks Canada. You can also partner with your local food bank. Use the link in the chat to locate and identify the food bank closest to you. By hosting fundraisers, you and your club can donate to the district project and help us reach our goal. Some potential ideas for fundraisers are Miracle Minutes, school fundraisers, alongside food drives, raffles, auctions, personal outreach to friends and family, and social media birthday fundraisers. Did you know that just $1 can provide 3 meals for a person? This goes to show just how much of a difference we can make. In the coming month, we'll be providing you and your clubs with fundraising related resources, so stay tuned.
Service is one of the most important aspects of this initiative. You can volunteer at your local food bank by packing and distributing meals and resource kits. Another service idea is hosting a food drive and collecting canned food at your school or with your sponsoring Kiwanis Club. After the food drive, you can donate the food that was collected to a local shelter or food bank. Volunteering is a fun and rewarding way to contribute to this project, so it'd be great to see you and your club get involved in this way. You may be asking yourself, how do we teach key clubbers and our own communities about food insecurity and its root causes? Our goal is to make the education portion of this initiative easy for you. By promoting resources on social media, introducing the new district project at meetings, contacting local food banks, having guest speakers from food banks at club meetings, and attending DCMs, you can educate others about the Help End Hunger movement. With all of the information and ideas we've covered, I'm curious to know how you will get involved with the district project. So drop your answers in the chat. Volunteering at my local food bank. I plan on sorting food with Feeding America with my family. Food drives, joint club projects, volunteering and spreading awareness, fundraising for food banks, group volunteering at the Oregon Food Bank with your club. These are all great ideas. Thank you.
I'm impressed by these great answers. Your work will help us reach our PNW Region Goal, which we'll be introducing now. This year, our goal is to provide 60,000 meals through fundraising and food drives. $20,000 raised and 75,000 pounds of food are both equal to this number of meals. This is a large goal, but we believe in you and need your help to get us there. With our district project resource, you can stay up to date with all things Help End Hunger. For starters, our one-pager is a great resource to share with other key clubbers and advisors. A copy of the one-pager will be sent out with the slides and after the webinar finishes. If you're not already, please follow the PNW Key Club Instagram, which is at PNW Key Club. You're always welcome to contact our committee at the email listed on the screen with any questions, comments, or concerns. We're here to help and support you. As we move into the fall, we will be releasing more resources regarding education, fundraising, and organizing food drives, so be on the lookout for those.
All right, we will now be moving on to the Kahoot activity the district committee has created for all of you to complete. All right, I hope everyone has been paying attention to the slideshow because the Kahoot questions will be covering the information we went over today. This gives you the chance to show off your Help and Hunger knowledge, so do your best. To make this more fun and rewarding, the District Project Committee will donate $30 to a food bank of the first place winner's choice. The winner will get to decide if the $30 given will be in their name or their home club's name. Also, when joining the Kahoot, make sure to use your first and last name as the Kahoot name, so we can find the first place winner after the webinar. With that, please join the Kahoot using the join code shown. And good luck, everyone. Once again, I want to say, please use your first and last name when you join the Kahoot. So, B-Bang, I'm sorry, you will have to rename yourself. Okay, I think we'll give it about maybe like 1 more minute and then we can begin. All right, let's get started. So to start us off, each night, how many people worldwide go to bed hungry? Maybe 450 million, 530, 625, or 690? Pick your best guess, or if you remember from the slides, pick that one. All right, nice job. It was 690 million. So that is quite a large number. Good job to the 16 people that got it right. We have Charles Schaffer on the top, nice job, followed by Ryan and Justin. Which of the following is not a leading cause of hunger? Is that poverty, systematic inequalities, medical problems, or climate factors? And this is just from the leading cause of hunger from what we showed in our slideshow. All right, seems like most of you guys got that right. It is medical problems. All right, nice job, Charles, for staying at the top, followed by Justin, Ryan, Grace, and Austin. Okay, next is a true or false question. So true or false, in 2019, 1 in 7 American children lived in a food insecure household. Right, that is true. All right, good job, Charles, for staying at the top, along with the other 4. Okay, which organizations did we ask you to consider supporting? Feeding America, Food Banks North, Food Banks Canada, or your local food bank? And keep in mind, you can pick more than one. All right, great job. Most of you guys got that one right. Wow, up 24 places. Nice job, Leanne. Okay, which of the following is not one of your demographics most impacted by hunger? One of the demographics most impacted by hunger, sorry. Is that individuals ages 30 to 45, marginalized communities, single parent households, or farmers? All right, that is individuals ages 30 to 45. Good job to the 34 of you for getting that right. Justine has a streak with 5 correct answers in a row. Nice job. True or false, the COVID-19 pandemic has reduced the amount of people getting assistance from food banks. That is false. Right, nice job, everyone. 5 players have reached an answer streak of 3. Good job to the 5 of those. Okay, the district project hopes to provide blank meals throughout this initiative. So think back to the goals that we were talking about earlier. 20,000, 60,000, 75,000, or 100,000. Right, you're right, 60,000. That is our goal for the number of meals we want to provide. Okay, what percentage of people reported having to choose between food and medical care? This question is a bit of a tough one, so pick your best guess, or if you remember, then that's amazing. It and 66% of people that have to choose between food and medical care. It looks like this question was a tough one. Okay, where can I find more information about the district project? The PNW Key Club Instagram, Help End Hunger one-pager, the Morty the Moose app, or both A and B? That's right, both A and B. You guys can find more information about the district project through the PNW Key Club Instagram and Help End Hunger one-pager. And it seems like some of you guys clicked a bit too fast and didn't look at the question, the answer D. All right, nice job. Okay, last question. So what are some ways you can contribute to the district project? Participating in service projects, fundraising, educating others, or all of the above? That's right, all of the above. And I'm sure the three of you that clicked A probably just clicked on it too fast as well. Okay, announcing our leaderboard. In third place, we have Angela Vo, who got 9 out of 10 questions. Congrats. And then we've got Justin Yee in second. And in first place, we've got Charles Schaffer. Nice job. I think you actually stayed on there for the whole time. And congratulations, Charles, on receiving first place in the Kahoot. Our district project chair will be contacting you shortly to go over the logistics of your prize. So be on the lookout for that message. Also, I want to give a big thank you to everyone for participating in the Kahoot. You all did a great job, and I hope you were able to learn more about the district project Help End Hunger through this activity.
Wow, you are all so knowledgeable. I was shocked at the amount of people who are getting the questions right and engaging, but congratulations to our winner. But for all of you who participated and got at least one question right, you should all be proud of yourself, as you did a great job and showed us that you were indeed paying attention to what we were saying. So to finish off our webinar, we will now start the question and answer session. Just a reminder, please be sure to type your questions into the chat at this time if you have not already. While we are waiting for the questions to roll in, I ask that you use a reaction button to show me that you are still paying attention. Okay, I see a lot of party hats and some hearts and some thumbs up. Okay, I see them all rolling in, so I know that you are all still there. Okay, so the first question that I am seeing in the chat is from Renee, who asked, how will we be updated on the progress of the district project? This is a great question. As you saw, we do have our set goal with the different metrics and the breakdown of the equivalencies when it comes to meals, as well as pounds of food and the dollar amount fundraised. Because, as you mentioned, this is a multifaceted project where fundraising is just a one portion of the many ways you can contribute to the district project. We hope on keeping track of the engagement. For example, we are looking to put something in the secretary reports that go out to each club, where we are able to track the pounds of food raised at a food drive or the amount of dollars raised at a specific fundraiser or an event selected to support the district project. We are hoping to keep track of that on our website, as well as give occasional updates on the PNW Key Club Instagram, which is another reason why we suggest that if you're looking to stay involved, that you write on the Instagram and follow. Go ahead and send DMs to us if you have any questions about tracking, and stay up to date if you are a club secretary or if you are an advisor or president. Please continue to encourage club secretary reports with your club secretaries and clubs to ensure that we are able to get accurate numbers, as well as record your progress on the Help End Hunger initiative. The next question is from Charles, our winner, who asked, if we aren't partnering with a single food bank or organization, how can we measure the amount of food or money donated throughout the entire district? This is a great question, and Alice may be able to touch on this more if there is need. But what we are asking to do is this is going to be an accurate representation of what we are doing. And in order to have that, we must have participation from clubs to report their numbers. Obviously, there may be some margins of error where there are some issues where someone doesn't report a pound of food here or there. However, for the most part, we want to be consistent and continue with our measurement of meals. Therefore, we are entrusting our club secretaries as well as our presidents and lieutenant governors and our Kiwanians to work together to record and represent accurate numbers of what is happening within the clubs, and that will be reported to us to continue to track and make those conversions so that we can count that towards our goal and improve the lives of hopefully various peoples with the 60,000 meal goal. Alice, if you would like to step in or have anything else to add.
Yeah, I think that sums it up pretty well. What I can go out here and say is that Help End Hunger and the way that we will be approaching this project is holistic, for lack of better word, and how we'll be recording that progress is also going to be holistic. As Claire has previously talked about, a lot of the responsibility for reporting your contributions to the project do lie on our officers, and we think that gives officers a little bit more motivation to participate. What you really decide to make of this project is in your hands. Your club will also report the amount donated each month through the secretary report to their lieutenant governors and through other methods, but primarily the secretary report, where 1 can generally equals 1 pound of food, and we go forward to make the conversions from there to see how many meals in total our district has contributed. You can also report the amount of money donated in the report, as well as if you decide to donate through the district website, which will be popping up on our shop pretty soon. We will keep track of that as well. So please, please, please make sure to keep your secretary informed of your contributions. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us, either myself at governor@pnwkeyclub.org, our district project chair at project@pnwkeyclub.org, or even to your lieutenant governor at ltgdivision@pnwkeyclub.org. Thank you guys so much for your increased participation and curiosity about our project. I'm very excited.
Keep the questions coming as I see some more in the chat. The next one I think is a question for Alice, and somebody asked, Alice, you did mention that there are certain reasons why you decided to choose the Help End Hunger initiative. Besides these reasons that you already detailed, what helped you differentiate this project from other projects you may have been considering?
Ooh, spicy question. I definitely have to say that we were looking for a project that everyone could participate in. I know I talked about this before, but we wanted to be really, really conscious of how people could get involved and get engaged with our project. And a project like Help End Hunger, which is locally relevant as well as a project that provides equitable methods of service and equitable methods of contribution, was something that was really, really important to me. And I think being able to create and draft sort of a project and a movement up from the very bottom was the best way for us to take all of these details into account and also be able to provide a project that works for everyone in the PNW. So it's not necessarily a question of how did you differentiate this from the others, but so much as how did our committee create something that worked for all of us. And the result is clearly what you guys are looking at right now. So I hope you guys enjoy and are excited to get involved. I think I can actually go ahead and answer this question that popped up in the chat by Charles again here, which is whether there's any training or resources being provided to officers to eliminate some of those potential errors, like a missing can here or there. Yes, from the district standpoint, I will be training our lieutenant governors at summer board on some of this, and our district project committee will be going forward and developing some of those training materials as well.
Another question in the chat, is there a way to factor volunteer hours at a food bank into the district goal? This is actually something that we went back and forth on when discussing goals, so I'm very glad that you brought this up. Volunteering is extremely important and has a great impact on the work that we are doing, and especially factors into the Help End Hunger initiative. However, looking at the conversions between volunteer hours and meals, it's hard to keep consistent, which is why we decided to keep track of the volunteer hours to still recognize all the work that is being done. Also, if you have been to a food bank or a food pantry, or maybe even something like a soup kitchen, I'm sure that you will know that depending on which one you're going to, the size of it, and their needs, they will assign you different tasks. For example, some may have you packing meals, which will directly convert to meals and will be given to people. And for others, it'll be cleaning the pantry or organizing it, which still is very impactful in helping end hunger. However, it does not correlate to the meals. So we will be keeping track of volunteer hours. As a service organization, we definitely recommend really encouraging service projects that are focused at food banks or food pantries that have a correlation and a connection to the Help End Hunger initiative. However, this is something that, as I mentioned earlier, we will be keeping track of for people to see the amount of volunteer hours our region has contributed to this project, as well as be sure to update that and have it as a motivator for many clubs to treat it as a service project idea that they can implement within their clubs. This also is a great time to acknowledge that I know that I sent those messages in the chat to locate your local food bank, but if you are a faculty advisor, a club president, a project coordinator for your club, I highly recommend looking at these food banks and getting in contact with them in the next few weeks before school starts back up again to make connections with people from there, get speakers potentially for your meetings as well as any other events that you hold, and make a direct link now so that you can have a group project set up as well as have an easier time getting your club to volunteer at a local bank. I also know that they have a lot of need right now as we are looking at COVID and the way that it is hopefully decreasing. So we are hoping that there will be more opportunities at your local food bank, but this is a great reminder to go out and find those opportunities, especially if you are in charge of coordinating that for your club. Thank you for that question. We have another question, it looks like. What do you think is the best way to get involved with the district project this year? To be honest with you, I don't think that there is a best way. We have that whole slide that show all the different ways you can get involved. And I would say the best way you could get involved is the best way that you can make an impact. And that would be through all the options that you are given. Being able to work at a food bank or directly working with Help End Hunger, it is very important to get involved in whatever way possible. We hope that whether you live in a rural or urban area or have the ability to volunteer somewhere close to you, that you will still have an impact through this project, which is where we differ from some of the past projects. So my answer to that would be that the best way would be whatever works best for you. And we look forward to hearing about all the creative ways you have come up to volunteer at a food bank, and would love to hear your experiences if you do decide to share them through your lieutenant governor, your secretary reports, or if you want to shoot us an email at theprodject@pnwkeyclub.org. We have another question that says, the goal is to provide 60,000 meals, and I was curious if you guys are planning to focus on providing those meals for the most impacted demographics that was mentioned earlier on, such as the marginalized communities, or will it be available for everybody?
I think I can actually go ahead and jump in on this question here. Just as a clarification, similar to our previous goals with the Thirst Project on how we would raise a certain amount of money, 60,000 meals is an accumulation of the service that people are doing all throughout our district. So it's not like we're going to take money and buy 60,000 meals and go ahead and distribute it to people one-on-one. It is an accumulation of the work that people are doing at their individual food banks and through our project. So to simply answer your question, not necessarily, since we aren't distributing those meals ourselves. However, considering the fact that these marginalized communities and these groups, and there are several demographics that are more prevalently impacted by hunger and food insecurity. The service that we do to with a food bank and the service that we do in order to help end hunger impacts these groups equally, impacts these groups in an equally increased standpoint. So will we be helping those most impacted demographics through the work that we're doing? Yes. And as similarly to how the demographic percentage is larger, the amount of work that we put in and the amount of impact that will go towards those groups will be the same, if that makes sense. So simply put, no, but actually put yes.
We have another question from Charles in the chat. I went to a joint DCM and there was a live discussion about lobbying for politicians to make systematic changes that will make food security easier. What tips do you have for making higher level impacts with lawmakers? I think that this is a really interesting question. As somebody who has lobbied on a lot of other topics, both on Capitol Hill and locally, I believe lobbying is one of the most important things a young person and any person can do to bring change, no matter if you're very into politics and know a lot about it or do not know much about it. Using your impact and voice in public policy is very important to be sure that we have all of this information to make the changes and push for the changes we needed from our elected officials. Something that I can suggest is if you want to look for resources, you can look at the Feeding America website, and there is a resource related to advocacy, including at your state capitol. I would also recommend that if you are looking for ways to get involved, to do group lobbying, I know that that is always effective no matter what lobbying space you are in, and being able to look at the different ways you can fight for food security. For example, if it's more funding to programs such as a SNAP program we mentioned earlier, or if it's having more government-run food banks, no matter what you are advocating for, it's important to come with the statistics, of course, the research, as well as the personal pull. And you are more than welcome to look and search on the Feed America website for additional resources on lobbying and speaking to policy and lawmakers, as well as important personal stories, as recognizing again that although we see these statistics, these are real people and Americans or Canadians who are impacted by hunger, and it is our part to do what we can to help in hunger, which is a great addition to things you could do to support the project. We have another question in the chat that says, how do you feel this differs from the past project, the Thirst Project? What ways do you see this being different and what ways is it similar? Would you like to touch on that, Alice?
Sure. I'll start off in the ways that it's similar. We're going out there and we're providing resources for people in need. And this is also a pretty holistic project like Thirst Project was. There's lots of various opportunities for you to get involved, and there's a really wide breadth of things that you can do in order to contribute to the project. In vein of how it is different, I would have to say that our project is a little bit easier to participate in. There's a lot more options there on how you can choose to contribute to the district project. Another thing is that Help End Hunger is a project that is completely unique to the PNW, although the cause is not unique. What we are doing here and our initiative and our movement is something that was created from the ground up by the district board. So you won't be able to find the exact same thing quite anywhere else. And it gives Key Clubbers something that's really special to be able to participate in and contribute to. I'd also have to say that our new holistic approach to contributing to this district project and tracking contributions to the district project is also completely new and done in a different manner than we did with the Thirst Project. And with that, we hope it will be smooth sailing, but as it is with new projects, there will definitely be quite a journey as we begin to move through all of our new obstacles that get faced at us. I also have to say that I find that the service component and the service aspect of this project is really special to me and really important to me. And I hope it is to all of you guys as well. We really like that. Sorry, I need to take a breath. We really like that you don't have to contribute necessarily fundraising, or you don't have to contribute financially to this project to be able to be a part of it. So those are some of the things that are different and new. Woo!
It seems we have a clarification that the movement is not something that the PNW district is partnering with. We made it ourselves. I would say that this is an issue that happens, as Alice mentioned, everywhere. It is not just in the PNW region or district. However, this project is unique, as Alice touched on. This is something that we worked on, and the district board, as well as Alice, came together to come up with this project and find ways to fully incorporate the different aspects that you have heard and the ideas that you have heard throughout the webinar. I think that this project and movement is something that goes beyond what we have done in the past and is completely innovative. We are, as mentioned, we are not partnering with one specific organization. However, we will partner with many organizations to work on this very important issue by working with each other in our community and finding different projects. We are hoping that we can actually touch and have members work with as many food banks as possible to really maximize our outreach and the amount of work we are doing, as we have set a pretty sizable goal, but we believe that our region will do the very best we can to make the difference and change the lives of the people who will be receiving the meals and will be benefiting from the volunteer hours that we are serving at these community food banks.
So final clarification, Help End Hunger in itself is not an organization. Help End Hunger is our district project. However, Help End Hunger as a movement is something that belongs to our district and something that we have created up off the ground. However, the cause and the organizations that we're working with and what we're going out and doing is something that is definitely not unique to us and something that should not be gate kept into one place. So I hope that answers your question to the capacity that you were looking for.
Okay, it looks like we have one last question in the chat unless anybody else has any final questions. But this question says, how do you suggest that adults, meaning people who are not Key Clubbers, get involved in this? How can Kiwanians take this project back to their Kiwanis clubs? Alice, would you like to chime in on this, and then I can take it from there?
Sure, this is such a good question, and it's really great that we can see our adult people in our organization wanting to get more involved. I definitely say to go ahead and if you are a faculty advisor, Kiwanis advisor, or just a Kiwanian that is here joining us today, to go and reach out to your local food banks as well. It's always great when we have adults, as students, when we have adults that are out there and helping us make connections with the organizations in our area. That can be something that's really difficult for students to do. And when adults are on our side and helping us, that is always super duper helpful. In terms of bringing this project back to your Kiwanians, it's a really, really great idea for your clubs that you're sponsoring to go ahead and host a food drive together. Or you, your Kiwanis club and your Key Club can go out and go to a food bank together and host a joint project. If you're in CKI or your CKI is near, if you're a Key Clubber, if you have a CKI club near you, feel free to reach out and you guys can go out there and do a joint project together. What's really great is that we have the numbers to be able to do great things, and joining together and going out to do joint projects is a really great way to take advantage of these numbers and be able to create a larger impact. So definitely, I would say if you are an adult, whether in Kiwanis or in CKI, go ahead and start a joint project together, or go ahead and help your Key Clubbers foster the connections that we need to make this project a success.
Thank you for that, Alice. I think that that was a great summary of different ways that adults can get involved. I also want to touch on the fact too that if you are a faculty advisor or a Kiwanis advisor, it's important to remember that a lot of us will be returning in the fall to somewhat of an in-person model as it looks right now when it comes to school as well as meetings. And it may be difficult because you may have Key Clubbers who are brand new to the Key Club program and do not know what the district project even is or what it means. So being able to promote this and promote this among your officer board with new members, with seniors in high school who are the last ones and are in their last years of Key Club. I highly suggest promoting the project and working with people in your division to work together, to come together and really focus on this project. We can do a lot of good if we work together and as a group, which I'm hoping we will definitely do, especially looking at the ways that the pandemic has interrupted and caused harm to many people, especially students, and the way that we function when it comes to Key Club meetings. Of course, it's also important to recognize, as we mentioned, the impact it has had on hunger and how the need is greater than it almost has ever been before. So by continuing to increase people to get involved in service and come together through this project, this is a great way for adults to empower the youth in the clubs and really put them in a service mindset that we are looking at and work on servant leadership while also doing good that benefits people in the community as we begin to recover from this terrible pandemic that we have been experiencing. Awesome. I see a lot in the chat about CKI clubs, as well as people working with Kiwanis and everything that is happening. Some great suggestions there. And I think that that concludes the Q&A. However, I would love and welcome anybody that has any questions to DM the PNW Key Club Instagram, as well as send an email to the project email that was on a few slides back. If you have any questions at all during the year and the term, we are always open to talking with you, listening to your ideas, and hearing about all the great things we're doing. And we have absolutely no doubt that you will take the Help End Hunger initiative by the reins and do some incredible work in your community. With that being said, in the chat, I hope that you all write one word to describe your feelings after hearing about the district project and hearing our answers in the Q&A. I can start. I know that I'm empowered after seeing the enthusiasm and passion Key Clubbers have learning about the Help End Hunger initiative. I saw that through the Kahoot and the Q&A. I'm confident that our region will change the lives of many people through our work. I see a lot of excited, motivated, love those words, inspired, astonished. Wow, that's great. A lot of excited, which is always great. We love the passion. Hopeful, I think it's great. Someone has more than one word, ready to make change, but I think that that's perfectly acceptable as if it's passionate, all amazing words. Dedicated, awesome. Change maker, great. These are all incredible, and I think it sums it up perfectly what this webinar and what this initiative is all about. I would like to extend my gratitude to my wonderful committee members who worked so hard to make this webinar happen and did such an amazing job tonight. Additionally, I want to thank our district governor, Alice Lee, executive liaisons, assistant district administrator, and our district administrator who helped make this possible. Finally, I want to thank all of you for participating in the webinar. We appreciate you being here, and I can't wait to see the incredible things you do with this project. Thank you again for joining us, and we will see you next time. With one final closing remark, here's Alice.
If you're looking for more opportunities to get involved with the district project and Key Club, registration for Key Club Day North and Key Club Day South is open now on the PNW Key Club website at pnwkeyclub.org. We're looking forward to seeing you there. Bye, guys.